afternoon, a beautiful day in Santa Fe. Spring is here. Alan Weber from the Mayor's Office. Let's do our daily number check-in. The bad news yesterday was we had 3 new positive cases in Santa Fe County. That's not as the kind of numbers that we've wanted or that we hope to get. Over the weekend, you may remember we had 3 cases combined, Saturday and Sunday. Yesterday, 3 new cases on Monday alone. The message is pretty clear to me. We're still seeing a growth in the number of positive individuals who are suffering from the coronavirus. We're not seeing a tapering down. Actually, if the data today look like the data yesterday, we will be seeing an increase. And as long as there's an increase, we're still under significant threat and very, very serious danger. It's very simple to think about it this way. We have a limited supply of hospital beds and emergency medical personnel and equipment. And if we want to safeguard that equipment for the people who need it the most, we have to flatten the curve. We have to stop going up and start staying flat, eventually going down. When the numbers increase exponentially, we're in trouble. And so it's important for all of us not to lose our focus, not to suddenly get overconfident, not to stop wearing face masks, practicing social distancing, washing hands, and really staying safe at home. That's the message for today. We're still dealing with a public health emergency. We're still seeing people infected with the virus. Sadly, in the state, we're still seeing people die from the virus, and around the country, it's going on. Even as people get impatient and want to go out and re-engage with life, it's too soon. We're not ready. And if we go out now and we see those numbers go up from 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 to 24, we're going to be in very serious trouble. So this is not the time to lose focus or to lose discipline. When it comes to a public health emergency, you've got to have patience and discipline, and remember the stakes are incredibly high. Any one of us could come down with the coronavirus. Sadly, people we know have died from the coronavirus. We need to safeguard our whole community, ourselves first, take personal responsibility to wear that mask, practice social distancing, stay at home, don't run any errands that aren't essential. If you go out for a safe opportunity for some physical exercise, do that in a safe way. Wear a mask. Stay 6 feet apart. Remember to be respectful, polite, and distant from all the other folks who are out there getting some exercise in our beautiful weather. A couple of other pieces of data. We now have 26 guests at the Midtown Shelter. We are taking care of people in our community who are suffering from the experience of homelessness. We're working collaboratively with our nonprofits. Regina Wheeler and her team are doing an extraordinary job of standing up that Midtown Shelter and taking care of some of the most at-risk people, some of the people who are potentially the most vulnerable in our city. So a great big thank you to Regina and her team, and to all of the folks who are helping to make Midtown work. YouthWorks providing 3 excellent meals a day, and all of the volunteers and people who are stepping up to staff that facility. Yesterday was a hard day. It was a hard day because of our 3 new cases. It was a hard day because as mayor, I had to announce the scope and depth and severity of the budget deficit that our city is facing. We are looking at a $14 million general fund deficit and about a $46 million all fund deficit. Those numbers are guesstimates put together by our finance team because the data is coming to us slow and late. We don't learn about our GRT revenues for 2 months after the transactions take place. So we're really driving forward in a crisis, a financial crisis, looking in the rearview mirror as we try to assess the real data that we need to make decisions. But even with guesstimates, we know the bottom has fallen out of our economy. Just like the bottom has fallen out of the oil economy, we see oil trading in the minus numbers. We are now have a city budget in the minus numbers. We are $46 million below zero. And we have 2 months to get back up to zero. And that's requiring all of us to make sacrifices. It has to be shared sacrifice. It has to be cooperative sacrifice. And we all have to recognize that these times are with us for the foreseeable future. That is the brutal facts of life. City government, your city government, depends on gross receipts tax for 70% of our revenue. Well, look around town. The things that would ordinarily produce for us those revenues are closed. Restaurants are essentially closed. There are some working hard to stay alive and keep people employed, but they're not operating the way they should be or the way they want to be. Our hotels are closed. Our movie theaters are closed. 33% of the gross receipts tax comes from retail stores. They're closed as non-essential businesses. So we are in a hole, and we're going to need everybody's help to dig out of it. We're going to need management taking a salary cut. We're going to need our workforce to recognize they have to work reduced hours and take a cut there. I'm taking a 30% pay cut. We're looking at freezing hiring. We're looking at freezing all expenditures that are not essential. And it's hard for everybody. It's hard for you as a resident. You expect first-class services. I was on the phone with our department heads. They want to deliver first-class services. They come to work every morning excited about the quality of service they can provide to you. And now they're having to hear the message, we don't have the money. We simply don't have the money. So going forward, there will be sacrifices. There will be disappointments. There will be things that we're all accustomed to, that we've grown used to having, that we're going to do without. We're like a family that has to tighten its whole belt because we simply don't have the money we used to have. Now, there is a source of help that we need to ask, and that's the federal government. The federal government has the ability to send money to cities and local governments. So far, they've restricted those expenditures to cities 500,000 in population and above, which is very, very illogical and poorly thought out, because the coronavirus doesn't care how big or small your city is. It attacks all cities of all sizes. But the federal government up to now has drawn an artificial line at the 500,000 mark and said we're only going to help cities bigger than that number. That leaves us in the cold. So last night, Congressman Ben Ray Lujan and I were on the phone. He's headed back to D.C. today to vote on an important bailout bill for small businesses and hospitals, but he is working for cities smaller than 500,000 population to get us federal help. He is building a coalition between Democrats and Republicans in the House to put another bailout package, a rescue package together, specifically targeted on local governments. And we ought to give him a great big thank you, and we also ought to reach out to other members of the House and then importantly in the Senate, because the stumbling block will be the Senate. We need help from the feds. We need help from the state. Santa Fe as a city government can't do this alone unless we're willing to tolerate extraordinarily deep cuts across the board to all of the services that we want to provide and that you want to receive. So take a minute, write a note, send an email, put in a call to our congressional delegation. Tell Congressman Lujan we thank him, we appreciate him, and we are supporting him, we are behind him. The same goes for Senator Heinrich, Senator Udall. They are with us. They want to help. We need to give them support. And you can simply quote statistics. $46 million is the deficit that your city government has to deal with. And it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. We have 2 months to balance the budget, and in the meantime, to start thinking about our budget for next year, where we will still be digging our way out of a hole, not of our own making, a hole that is a response to the coronavirus, but we are committed to winning the fight against the coronavirus first and foremost. I am so committed to making sure that you stay healthy, that we don't lose any people. In a year, in 2 years, our economy will be back. We know that. We'll flourish, we'll be strong again. Our markets will be back. Our stores will be back. Our hotels and restaurants will be back. In the meantime, if we've lost a loved one to coronavirus, they won't be back. So let's focus on first things first. First, we save lives. Then we rebuild the economy. That's the report for today. I will give you more news tomorrow. Look at our rate of positive tests. 3 is too high. Bring it down. 1, 0. That's what we want. We want to stop the spread of the coronavirus. We can do it with social distancing. If everybody practices social distancing, if 80% or more of us stay home when we don't need to go out, wear a mask when we do need to go out, wash our hands before and after we go out, stay 6 feet apart. If we'll all do that, I promise you, going forward, we will flatten the curve. We won't lose anyone we love. We will all be safe. We will all be healthy. We will all be home, and we will all make it through this together. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Stay safe to the greatest extent possible. Please stay home. I'll see you tomorrow.